Hello students, welcome to the new session of Tackling Sentence Completion. Sentence completion is nothing but fill in the blanks. But these fill in the blanks are different from what you have been doing in the school. In the school, the text has been given to you, you know the chapter, and therefore you know what is the word that fits into the particular blank. But here the sentences have been taken from various sources. They can be from any kind of article, they can be from the science background, the humanities, or the commercial background. So here you do not know what kind of word should fit in over here. So there are certain clues and certain skills that helps you to tackle these kind of questions. They are again nothing but testing your comprehension skills. So let's begin. The basic rules of tackling sentence completion are: read the sentence carefully and get the idea of the sentence and try to figure out how the parts of the sentences are related. That is to simply say that read the sentence so carefully first of all and try to understand what the sentence is trying to tell you, or what the author is trying to tell you in that particular sentence. Pay special attention to introductory and transitional words. Transitional words are nothing but conjunctions, and a separate video has been made on conjunctions. Conjunctions help you to understand the technical part of the sentence, and therefore they are a big clue in a particular sentence. They tell us how a sentence should be tackled. One important thing, that while you are doing sentence completion, nothing comes from outside the sentence. Everything is there within the sentence itself. Do not look for understanding or make your own assumptions. Here the sentence itself gives all the clues that is required to understand the sentence. Be sure your answer choice is both logical and grammatically correct. You need to see that a particular sentence, if needs an adjective, you need to pick up an adjective from the options given to you, and if it needs an adverb, pick up an adverb. So that means it should be logically and grammatically correct, and use the process of elimination wherever required. Let's begin. The first clue is word fitting or anticipator word. Before you look at the answer choices, think of a word that fits the sentence. So let's do a sentence over here. Now the sentence says, Stephen is always blank about showing up for work because he feels that tardiness is a sign of irresponsibility. Now here, okay, now here the word because. What does because do? If you have gone through the video of conjunctions, you will know that because is nothing but a reason marker. So because helps us to understand what the reason for Stephen to be is. So this part of the sentence that follows because should be the reason for something to happen, reason for this effect. Fine. So what we do is, now we read the sentence. Stephen is always dash about showing up for work because he feels that tardiness is a sign of irresponsibility. Now what is the meaning of tardiness? Tardiness means being late. He thinks that being late is a sign of irresponsibility. Therefore Stephen is always dash about showing up for work. So what comes to the mind is that he comes on time. He's always on time about showing up for work. So now let's look at the option choices. Illegible, tolerable, punctual, literal, and belligerent. The only word that goes with on time is punctual. I hope you are understanding the sentence and the sentence structure. I did not have to look for anything on my own or assume something, but the clues tardiness, irresponsibility, and because told me that I need a word that talks about being punctual. Let's move on to the next one. Let's take this example. crestfallen by having done poorly in the test. We have a word that says crestfallen. Okay, crestfallen means what? Crestfallen means despaired, or so despite by having done poorly on the test, Susan began to question her abilities. So the sentence says that because she had done poorly in the test, she was doubtful about her own abilities. Therefore, her self-confidence was what? It was something like shattered or destroyed. So let's look at the answer choices. You can easily make out it cannot be appeased, placated, because they both mean to make better, whereas sustained means that her self-confidence remained as it is. So I cannot have that word. Elevated, no, it did not grow, but it was destroyed. So a correct answer choice will be destroyed over here. Let's move on to the next question. So if somebody is crestfallen or despairing and has begun to question herself, then her self-confidence would be destroyed. Hence the answer is B. Transitional word. What are transitional words? As mentioned earlier, transitional words are nothing but conjunctions, and if you haven't gone through the video, please go through the video once again. So be alert of transitional words. Transitional words tell you what is coming up, in the sense they tell you what is needed to be understood in the sentence, what is it that you are going to look forward to. So they indicate that the author is now going to draw a contrast with something stated previously or support something stated previously. So how do you know that it is going to show contrast, or it is going to show that something has been similar to what the previous idea he has made? So first we'll move on to the contrast indicators. Contrast indicators or conjunctions that show contrast are but, yet, despite, although, however, and nevertheless. These are most common conjunctions that you come across. So when you are looking for when you find a contrasting idea conjunction, the two parts of the sentence will be either will have one positive idea and the second as a negative idea. Suppose the blank is in the negative idea, therefore by reading the first part or the positive part, you have understood that you need a negative word in the second blank. And if you have gone through the if there's a blank in the positive idea, that means you need a positive word in the particular blank. So conjunctions help you to understand what kind of words fit in that particular blank. So let us solve some examples here. Although the warring parties had settled number of disputes, past experience made them dash to express optimism that the talks would be a success. Now what is the conjunction here? Of course, although is the conjunction that shows a contrasting ideas. So if you remove although and read that particular part of the sentence, that the warring parties had settled a number of disputes, it says something positive about the parties. But if you move on to that, means the next part of the sentence has to be with some negative idea. So past experience made them dash to express optimism that the talks would be a success. Now past experience made them dash to express optimism. Now optimism is a positive word, therefore something that contradicts being optimism. So were they willing to express optimism, or were they not willing to express optimism? So though the parties had settled a number of disputes, the past experience had made them unwilling to express optimism that the talks would be a success. So we need something that says that they are not willing to express optimism. Now let's look at the answer choices. Rash, ambivalent, scornful, overjoyed and reticent. Here overjoyed can easily be eliminated because it is a positive idea word. Rash and scornful does not fit into the sentence, as they say that you cannot say that past experience made them rash to express optimism. Rash is not expressing a feeling, but then it is expressing of being something very physical. So we cannot have that. They were ambivalent or doubtful or vague in their optimism, no. Scornful in their optimism, no. But they were reticent in their optimism will be the correct word fitting in here, because reticent means one who is unwilling to express, or one who is who does not speak much. So they were not speaking much and not expressing their optimism that the talks would be a success. Therefore our correct answer will be E. So let's move on to the next sentence. Support indicators. Now, supporting words support or further explain what has already been said. These words often introduce synonyms for words elsewhere in the sentence. Now, if you find two parts of the sentences joined by words such as and, also, furthermore, likewise, in addition, or for, that means the entire sentence is moving on in the same track. So, if the entire sentence produces a positive idea, you need to look for words that are positive in meaning. And if the entire sentence moves on in a negative track, that means you need to look for pairs of words or a word that has a negative idea in it. So let's work again on a particular sentence. So here is a sentence that says Davis was an opprobrious speaker, equally caustic towards friend or foe, a true curmudgeon. Now the words, unless you know the meaning of the word opprobrious, you may not be able to fit in what comes in over here. So let's look for some other words. We have equally caustic towards friend or foe, a true curmudgeon. Now let me give you a clue here. A curmudgeon is an old and a retiring but irritating person. So now it might be clear for you that the sentence is not moving on a positive note, but then it is moving on a negative note. And the meaning of the word caustic is harsh. These are some of the most important words that you should be learning. Now, two words that I want to focus on: approbation and approbation. They seem to be similar, but then they are not similar, because the first vowel has been changed here. A means to add and O means to show opposition. So clearly this is a positive idea word and this is a negative idea word. Approbate is to praise someone, whereas approbation is to be harsh on someone, criticize someone. And we have this particular word over here. So it says that Davis is an opprobrious or a harsh and criticizing person. So something that shows similarity with this word. So Davis is an opprobrious and dash speaker, equally caustic toward friend or foe, a true curmudgeon. So he's equally harsh towards friend or foe. So what kind of speaker is he? Let's look at the answer choices. Lofty, vituperative, unstinting, retiring, and laudatory. Now here lofty will not go in, because he was not a lofty speaker, he was not a laudatory speaker. Laudatory means to praise or approbation. So I cannot have this word here. Retiring, again no. Unstinting is again a positive word, therefore we take vituperative or abusive speaker. So and in the sentence indicates that the missing adjective is similar in meaning to opprobrious, which is very negative. Now vituperative is the only negative word which means abusive, hence the answer is B. Now let's do this sentence. Pause the button and understand the sentence here. I want you all to look for clues in the sentence. Fine. So take your time, understand the sentence and give me the clues that you are able to figure out. And when you are done, please return. Now here, okay. Now if you are done with the sentence, with a dash blow of whistle, the meddling parent interrupted the game to reiterate the rules of the tournament. Meddling and interrupted are synonymous. That means the parent are interrupting into the game, and the nature of the parent is to be meddling. Now here blow of whistle does not necessarily mean to blow a whistle, but their whistleblowers are those people who bring out a broach of a topic, or to bring into the light a particular thing or situation. So the parents were such that they interrupted in the game, and they wanted that the rules of the tournament be changed or reiterated. So the words cannot be industrious, illustrious, or eloquent. Eloquent means one who is a fluent speaker. It could be officious or enviable. The parents are not envying anybody, but then they are meddling. Therefore, the word officious is the word that best fits in over here. Officious is someone who keeps interfering in someone else's affair. So we have the word option D that fits in over here. Now the cause and the effect indicators. These words indicated that one thing causes another to occur. Now going back to the first sentence, when we talked about Stephen being punctual, the word because helped us to understand that there's a reason for Stephen to be punctual. So because is a word that shows the cause, and therefore we could come to the effect. So because and for are words that help us to that tell us that there's some reason being explained in the sentence. Thus, hence, and therefore are effect markers. If and then can be a conditional as well as a cause and effect marker. Read this sentence carefully. It's very easy. Press the pause button and then come back with the answer that you understand in here. Okay, you might have understood that we have the word because here that explains that there's a reason. So and everything that is following the word because is a reason. So because she practiced every day for 6 months, she became what? She became an expert. Something like that comes to the mind. So let's look at the options that we have. Yes, of course, it is proficient, that the word that fits in over here. So Mary became proficient at typing because she practiced every day for 6 months. So the correct option will be option A here. Okay, let's do the next example. Because the House has the votes to override a presidential veto. Because word expresses that this is the reason for the second part of the sentence to happen. The president had no choice but to dash. Now the sentence says that the House has the votes to override a presidential veto. Veto is the power. So therefore they have the vote, they have more number of votes, and therefore they can override a presidential's power. Therefore the president has no choice but to give up, right? So what is the word that fits in for give up? Object, abdicate, abstain, capitulate, and compromise. Obviously he cannot object or capitulate. He cannot abstain himself from something or give or abdicate away. Abdicate is to completely give away. But then he has no choice but to compromise with the House. Therefore, the correct option here will be option E. Since the House has the votes to pass the bill or motion, the President would be wise to compromise and make the best of the situation. Therefore, the correct answer here is the answer E. Apposition. What are apposition? Please do not confuse apposition with opposition. It is the same as that we did in approbation and approbation. So opposition and apposition are again similarly, A means to add and O means to oppose. So this is a rather advanced grammatical structure, and it is very common in sentence completion questions. They generally help you to serve as a clue for the word that you need to look for. So words or phrases in apposition are placed next to each other, and the second word or phrase either defines, clarifies, or gives evidence to the first word or phrase. The second word or phrase will be set off from the first by either a comma or a semicolon, or can be a hyphen or a parenthesis. Parentheses are brackets. So anything that is placed after a comma, semicolon, hyphen, or it is inside the parenthesis is the explanation for the word that needs to be looked for. Now these are very, very crucial. Please pay attention to them. If you have done them well, I bet you will never falter in looking for a correct word. So let's take for example in understanding what an apposition is. Mr. Nelson, my chemistry teacher, is marking the test. The phrase that falls in between the phrase that falls between the two commas, my chemistry teacher, is an apposition, or it is adding to something for Mr. Nelson. So who is Mr. Nelson? My chemistry teacher. So the author is trying to tell us that Mr. Nelson is marking the test, but then he is adding to the quality or something about Mr. Nelson, that Mr. Nelson is my chemistry teacher. So it helps us in understanding more about Mr. Nelson here. Let's take another example. The hangman, a grey-haired convict in the white uniform of the prison, was waiting beside his machine. Now, the clause that we have between the two commas is a grey-haired convict in the white uniform of the prison is explaining more about the hangman. So, that tells us that the hangman was actually, the sentence is only the hangman was waiting beside his machine. But who is the hangman? A grey-haired convict in the white uniform. So you can imagine a grey-haired convict in the white uniform here. Fine. Let's move on to one more example. The king, my brother, has been murdered. So if you remove the apposition, still it makes sense. The king has been murdered. And if you add the apposition, it says that the king, my brother, has been murdered. So author is trying to say that the king is my brother who has been murdered. I hope it is clear to you by now what are appositions. So let's take one example here. His novels are blank, and we have a semicolon following it. So his novels are dash. He uses long circumlocution when a direct coupling of a simple subject and verb would be best. So this explains that his novels are somewhat very lengthy in size, and he has not used direct coupling of subject and verb. Therefore, it makes it very lengthy and long. It cannot be C. The answer fitting in cannot be C or D or E. Succinct is something very short. Vapid is again very short-lived. Risk is totally out of the context here. You may come back to prolix or pedestrian. Pedestrian is something slow and boring. Yes, because of the word long circumlocution, you may feel that it is pedestrian, but it is not pedestrian. It is prolic or something that is too wordy. He uses long circumlocution. Circumlocution means too windy or using lots of word. Therefore, the option A best fits in over here. Okay. So the sentence has no linking words such as because, although, etc. Hence, the phrase following the semicolon is in apposition to the missing word. It defines or further clarifies the missing word. Now, writing filled with circumlocution is aptly described as prolix. Therefore, the answer A is the correct answer. Punctuations, again, we just talked about semicolon. Now, let's move on to commas. Whenever the punctuation comma appears, followed by a blank in between two sentences, then it means that the synonym of the phrase word before the comma is the meaning of the blank. In simple words, when you find comma followed by a blank, then find the synonym of the word before the comma. And if you find it after the comma, whatever is the explanation after the comma, so the word or a synonym for the entire explanation after the word will fit in before the comma. So let's do this example. Because the speaker had a reputation for dash, so there's a comma, the chairperson warned him to succinct. Now, I just explained you the meaning of the word succinct, which means to be brief or short. So the chairperson warned him to be short or brief. Therefore, his reputation is of someone being too talkative or too windy in his speech. Therefore, it cannot be bravery or creativity or lassie or piety. And it is the word locatiousness that fits in over here. Loquacious person is a very talkative person. Okay, so it is the only word that fits in over here. Kim was dash in choosing her friends. So her parties were attended by vastly different and sometimes bizarre personalities. This is an easy sentence, and I hope anyone can get the answer to this. Yes, definitely it is indiscriminate if it is saying that it is attended by vastly different and sometimes bizarre personalities. Therefore, Kim is indiscriminate in choosing her friends. So the correct answer here is answer B. Colons and semicolons, we have done with the commas. Now let's move on to colons. In the same way, when you find a colon or a semicolon in the sentence, they will indicate that the idea coming up is merely an explanation to the earlier idea. So simply find the synonym of the word or the phrase before the punctuation and fill in the blank with the synonym from the options given. Now this sentence says Prince Philip had to choose. Now there's a colon, so everything is the explanation. Marry the woman he loved and dash his right to the throne, or marry Lady Fiona and inherit the crown. So the sentence means that if he marries Lady Fiona, he will inherit the crown, and if he marries the woman he loves, he has to give away the throne. Reprimand, upbraid, abdicate, winnow and extol. Yes, it's the only word abdicate that means to give away. So if he marries the woman he loved, he has to give away or abdicate his right to throne. Therefore, the correct answer is option C. Let's do one more example. This is again easy. Ariana was outstanding as the moderator. There's a semicolon. Be careful of the semicolon here. Ariana was outstanding as the moderator. She has been working as a moderator. She handled the intensely heated debate with what? Again a comma here. So diplomatically and tactfully she has handled the entire situation. So therefore it cannot be succor or aversion or pretentious. They are pretentious and aversion are negative words which do not fit in over here. She does not handle it with prowess or power, but she handles it with skill, her skill of being a moderator. So therefore she aptly or she handles the intensely heated debate with finesse or skill. I hope you're getting it. Double blank sentences. Till now what we had been doing are single blank sentences, and you also come across questions that are based on two blanks in a sentence. In this kind of sentences, solve one blank at a time. The dash terrorist was finally dashed by the police. Now a terrorist cannot take a positive adjective, therefore will eliminate option A and option D, which mean famous and renowned, and therefore we have notorious or crafty. Now the second blank says that he was nabbed or admonished by the police. Definitely he will be nabbed by the police and not admonished. Admonish is to warn. So the notorious terrorist was finally nabbed by the police. So it will be option B as the correct answer. Let's do one more. But before we do that, positive and negative flow. Understand which sentence takes the positive flow and which sentence takes a negative flow. So when you read the sentence, you will have to look out for adjectives or adverbs which tell you the idea of the sentence. After finding these adjectives or adverbs, you need to find out if the idea of the sentence is positive or negative. Therefore, all the negative ideas will take some bad word or bad phrase or any term which has no or none or not in it. And all the positive ideas may be a good word or a good phrase. Okay, so let's do this sentence now. The children knew that once their father made his decision, the new rule would be dash because a reason marker, because he would never change his mind. Because he would never change his mind, the children knew that his father's new decision is definitely irrevocable or that cannot be changed. So irrevocable describes that the rule cannot be changed. That's easy. One more sentence. Now this is a bit tricky, but it's easy if you have understood the meaning of the sentence. Now because he did not want to appear dash. Now that's the reason. Because he did not want to appear something, the junior executive refused to dispute the board's decision. Now something more explaining why he refused to dispute the board's decision, because he did not want to appear something. In spite of his belief that the decision would impair employee morale. Now he knew that the decision was not a good decision and it would impair the employee morale. He did not dispute the board's decision because he did not want to appear someone who is going against the board. So definitely it is not indecisive or solicitous. Solicitous is one who trying to compromise. No, overzealous is totally out of the context, or steadfast or stubborn over here. It is definitely answer A, contentious. Because he did not want to appear contentious, the junior executive refused to dispute the board's decision. Clear? So C and E are gone because they are positive words. Doesn't work because the clue refused to dispute. B doesn't work because he refused to dispute. That doesn't work with indecisive. For the same reason, D doesn't work either. So the best answer is answer A. Be careful of words that come too easily. She was a dash or an dash liar who had mastered the art of making untrue statements in a manner that sounded dash. Understand the sentence carefully. It says she had mastered the art of making untrue statements seem true. Therefore, it cannot be C or D. Solving the second blank first, cannot be C or D because it says illogical or incongruous. Incongruous is something that does not go with each other. So it cannot be C or D. Definitely it has to be creditable or plausible. But congenial means someone who's kind-hearted or kind of person. So she was not that kind of a liar, but she was an incorrigible or one who cannot be corrected. Therefore, she has mastered the art of making untrue statements appear true. Therefore, the correct answer will be here, answer B. The better you understand the sentences, the better you are able to solve the questions. So the first thing underlies is understanding the statement. In this particular sentence, again, it will be your mastery in understanding the sentence that will help you in getting the correct answers. Students, understand one thing, that though you have a good vocabulary, definitely vocabulary is something that you will have to master to do sentence completion. But even though you have a good vocabulary, you may not be able to fit in the correct word if you have not understood the sentence well. So the first thing lies in understanding the statement, and once you have understood the statement, only then you will be able to pick up the correct answer. So same thing applies over here in this particular statement. Read it carefully. It says that the village headman was unlettered. That means he was uneducated, but he was no fool. He could see through the dash of the businessman's proposition and promptly dash him down. It's easy. Solve the second blank first. We have forced and turned in 2 blanks each. So forced him down or turned him down. Yes, exactly. It should be turned him down. Turn down is a phrase that goes in over here. So your option A and C are automatically eliminated, and now you have option B and D to work with. You should know the meaning of naivete and sophistry, and before you know the meaning of naivete and sophistry, you need to understand that the businessman is trying to pose himself as very decent or something, but because the headman was no fool, he could see that what he was posing was not something true. There was something underlying in his proposition. So it cannot be naivete. Naivete is a beginner or an innocent person. So he was not an innocent person, but he was a sophisticated, or he was trying to be very sophisticated, and therefore the village headman could see through it and thus turned his proposition down. So exactly the answer D is the correct answer here. So recap with all of that. First thing is reading the sentences carefully, figuring out what is the best option that best word that should be fitting in the blank, then going through the option choices, process of elimination, eliminating down the answer choices that are totally incorrect, and then you will definitely be able to come to the correct answer here. So all the best and work them carefully. Thank you.